Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
I know that you don't like to talk about your life, but a guy with a freaking machete for an arm just chopped our butts in half. Who are you?
My father trained me to be an assassin, but that's not who I am. A Marvel legend DJ Snake will rise.
You got this.
Thank you.
You can't outrun your destiny.
My name is Shang-Chi. Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Rated PG-13.
Hello. This is Adolf, and welcome to the Spoilercast of Shang-Chi. If you have not seen this movie and you care about spoilers, then pause it now and listen to our spoiler-free podcast, because this is going to go full of spoilers. I am not alone in this podcast. I have the marvelous Classic Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And the fabulously fantastic New Jake.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so first off, New Jake, we haven't talked to you about this movie yet. What are your thoughts on the movie?
It was really good. Better than what I was thinking it was going to be, and the 3D just made it that much better.
Okay, so what score would you give the 3D?
3D is a perfect 10 out of 10.
Okay, so that's editor's choice.
Editor's
3D.
choice, yes.
And the movie itself, what score would you give it?
Solid 8 out of 10. Just
Okay.
very super entertaining.
Okay, so let's get to the movie itself. I was actually surprised how many scenes were subtitled in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not fine with it. I don't have a problem with subtitles in my movies. I was just not expecting that much. Maybe a third of the movie is subtitled? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Quarter to a third, yeah.
I was impressed that the subtitles didn't mess up the 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took great care with this.
Now, the movie starts off in a flashback where we don't know how he got the rings or where the rings come from, which is still a mystery. I was kind of thinking that they would explain it, but they did not. And that he has the rings and he's taking over. And I was like, what's exactly stopping him from taking over the whole world?
True love.
Yeah.
So, what are the characters' names? I am very bad about pronouncing names, so I'm gonna do what I can, but the old dad, the one that has been alive for over 1,000 years.
Winwoo.
Winwoo. Or the Mandarin.
Yeah.
Yeah, played by Tony Leung.
Mm-hmm.
And he was great. I really loved him.
He's a great actor.
So you see him just conquering these places, and like they have nothing to stop him with. We don't even know like the powers of the rings. What exactly does it do? I don't know. It just looks badass and it's powerful.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It looks like these are not like the rings the Mandarin has in the comic books. First of all, they're like bracelets. And it seems like you use them in unison to do different things with them.
Yes.
So you can make projection. You can make projectiles. You can make force fields. You could shoot them away, and then return them like boomerangs. You could make energy weapons with them. I don't even know. And toward the end, he was actually using them to like jump midair. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn that he gets. He falls in love. He goes to like the one area where he knows there's going to be secret stuff, and that's where he sees where he falls in love with Ying.
Yeah, and the place is at Tinlo. It's believe it or not, it comes from Thor comics.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when they decided to put some Asian characters in Thor. They created this kind of Brigadoon type of world.
All right.
So is this another dimension or another universe or what? How do we know?
They dropped a thing. They referred to it as another dimension.
Okay.
But they only said that once, and the person saying it wasn't what I'd call a reliable narrator. They were speaking about legend. So it could be, we don't know. So I would presume right now it's another dimension.
Another part of the multiverse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or it might be completely separate from the multiverse. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing. So that's where he meets this woman, and it was actually really interesting how this fight scene was like really romantic. I was like, damn.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They actually are doing a great job of showing that they have chemistry without saying much, and how they're able to fight off each other. And I was like, this is nice. I like this.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yep, it's a trope in a lot of these martial arts movies.
Yeah.
So what happens next, Classic Jake?
Well, Wen Wu gets his ass handed to him and winds up in the drink because she can counter his rings with her martial arts.
Yep. Her airbending skills.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So he's smitten and gives up the thug life for her, and she gives up being immortal for him, and they marry and start a family.
Now, we're not going to do the same thing that the movie did, where they jump back and forth. We'll just go ahead and say it. So they get a family, they have a boy and a girl, and then before they got married, he was doing all this mischief, and those bad guys came back to kill, and he killed the mom and in front of the son, and then after a while, the son was trained how to fight, and the daughter learned from watching, and the dad said, you should need to go to kill the person who killed your mom, and he goes, and he does kill her. We don't see that on screen, but after that, he doesn't want to go back to his dad, and then he promised his sister that he'll come back, but he never did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And she runs away and starts her own version of Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And starts her own criminal enterprise.
So we get to modern day San Francisco. Modern day in the MCU. I don't know. I don't remember what year they're in now.
2024.
Yeah, is that right?
That's about right. It's supposed to be present-ish day San Francisco, and Shang-Chi has changed his name to Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, real, completely different name. No bearing on his old name.
Yeah.
Now, I saw that, and I don't know if you guys noticed that. That is a trend with whenever people come to the West or to America, they basically butcher their name so that way it sounds like an English name, and that they ruin their heritage just to be more,
anglicized. Actually, like a lot of my Chinese friends, they adopt an English name. Like Tony Leung, his English name is Tony. That's not what he was named. He adopted that name.
That's just like Jackie Chan, That's not his actual name.
That's not his Chinese name. That's why in the movie, when he asks Awkwafina Katie her Chinese name, because he wants to know her. Yeah, when Wen Wei wants to know her Chinese name.
Yeah, what was her, like Caillou or something like that? I forgot.
Well, when I'm talking about the history, though, of different immigrant groups coming to America.
That's why the Chinese do it themselves, because they didn't want to get stuck with a crappy name at immigration. They wanted to take control of their fate.
Yeah.
And so Sean and Awkwafina are, I guess they're driving cars, and they have like they're parking cars, and they have a fun little action scene where the parked car is, they get I guess a Lamborghini, or I don't know what kind of car it was.
Modern day sports car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they decide to go drive it around. Yeah, and Katie wants to drive.
Pretty good driver.
Yeah.
I really like Aquafina in this. I don't know about you, Jake. New Jake.
Yeah, she kind of grated on my nerves in Rhea, but she did pretty well here. Kind of still did her little awkward shtick that she does from time to time, but she did pretty well and didn't get on my nerves.
Yeah, she kicked serious ass, and I can't wait to see her and Wong in the Avengers.
Honestly, she looked like Mulan more than the girl who played Mulan in the Mulan movie.
Exactly. I was thinking, why didn't they cast her in Mulan?
Yeah.
So,
I would probably be watching the shit out of Mulan over and over and over again.
Yeah,
Instead
the
of-
movie would have been better.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
exactly. No, I think it would have been just on her energy alone.
Yeah.
Would have been watchable.
Oh, yeah.
it is interesting that how this movie, I felt like it had more cursing and adult language than other Marvel movies.
Tons of shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, now we know vagina is a PG-13 word.
Yes.
Which makes sense. But yeah, I know that. That's what you were talking about with Aquafina's skit or her brand.
On the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that in like 5 years, she's basically, went from being a DJ, talking about, doing comedy, and then now she's in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And all had to do about talking about her vagina.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going on the bus, and then you get the first real big action movie with Shang-Chi, and that bus scene was pretty badass.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically speed intensified, reduced to 10 minutes.
And with more CGI.
Yeah. And it looked awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, and the 3D in that scene was really good.
Hmm. Yeah, and that was a great fight.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Brad Allen did great.
And they're trying to steal his necklace for reasons.
Basically to get him home.
Yeah. Plot contrivance.
Yeah. Yeah, the MacGuffin.
Yes. That one that doesn't hang on to it for very long, which is a nice plus.
Yeah.
And like you see that he's just awesome and is able to take care of multiple bad guys at once, and it was just like, wow.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Why isn't he doing martial arts to win fights to get money? Why is he driving cars around?
Yeah.
He's hiding.
Yeah.
I like that Aquafina had a family too. Like they actually went to her house and got to meet mom and grandma. And
Yeah, and
everyone.
Grandma was like, when are you and Sean getting married?
We're just friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I was expecting them to be married by the end of the movie. Maybe that could be like the after done scene. They get married, but yeah, I was expecting that to happen, but it didn't happen. Not yet. Maybe
they seem like they're a couple at the end of the movie, but not confirmed. Maybe they're still just friends.
Yeah. They kind of, to me, had kind of a Peel and Steed kind of energy about them.
Yeah.
Very flirtatious almost, but they may decide to not go anywhere with it.
Yeah. Don't be awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
Or don't be Aquafina.
Yeah.
like they both recognize that they're attracted to each other and like each other, but they don't want to mess up their friendship by potentially, being romantic. So so nothing ever happens, but that chemistry's still there. I felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I got to go back to China. He gets a letter in the mail from what he thinks was his sister, and Aquafina actually like, hey, I need to know what the hell is going on here.
Hmm. And is like, you're going, so am I. She's basically the Sam of this movie. She's going.
Yeah. I'm just surprised they can afford a trip to Macau on a valet salary.
Well, I guess the blip really messed up the airlines, and they're having tickets cheap.
Yeah.
Now, I would imagine that Shang-Chi's family is like super wealthy if he's been living for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows how big the Ten Rings empire truly is.
Yeah.
He may even own Starbucks. I mean,
Jesus.
it would explain a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's talking and doing the story, and then it goes into the story. It just how it weaves in and out of the scenes in the past is really nice. I really liked how it handled that. DC Comics have done non-linear narratives, and they've never done it as well as this.
Yeah.
So you get over there, and you try to find the place where it is the letter came from, and that's where they're fighting. And you see, eventually you see that when you signed up to fight, and she's like, oh, that's such a crappy move that you're signed here to get in, and now you're gonna fight in this thing.
Yeah, and they know who he is because, of course, the bus fight was posted on the internet.
Oh, that was funny. That blogger guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned a little kung fu in my youth.
So I'll grade this.
Yeah. It was cringy but funny at the same time. It seems like it actually happened.
Yeah. I hope they actually filmed it and it's an extra on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I do too. That would be awesome.
Now, that guy actually was in Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man, not the first Marvel Spider-Man, Homecoming. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they put a lot of people in these various things. And and Kevin Feige said there is a visual blip reference in Shang-Chi. But I didn't notice it.
I didn't notice it either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a poster saying about counseling after the blip, but that was it.
That could be it. That might be it.
The only poster I seen was Kung Fu. What is that movie from 2004? Kung Fu Hustle, and that's the only poster I cared about.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, yay, Stephen Chow, Ching-Hua.
I love that movie.
Oh, I love Stephen Chow. I highly recommend his movies. You need to see, if you haven't seen it, God of Cookery, it's even better than Kung Fu Hustle.
Never heard of it.
It's well worth seeking out. It is an incredible movie.
All right.
So we see a fight with Abomination and Wong.
Uh-huh.
And that was Tim Roth who did the voice of Abomination.
Yeah, and I love that fight. I love the way Wong got the Abomination to punch himself.
Yeah, but I just kind of like it afterwards. Like, next time you won't punch so hard, and they just kind of have it in like, we're just kind of making money on the side.
Yeah, and he called him Emil, and I mean they're friends.
Yeah. It took him 14 years or so to get Tim Roth back.
Yeah. Hey, but it was worth it, and I also like the re-up design. He looks awesome now.
Yeah. Yeah, he has little flipper ears.
Yeah, it's like a lot more comic book accurate.
Yeah. So then, okay, now you're gonna fight, and you're gonna fight the Master, and it's a woman, and it's his sister.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to fight his sister, which makes sense, and he loses, and Awkwafina makes a ton of money off of it.
Yeah. Yeah, she saw which way the wind was blowing, and
So then they see that they're going after her, after both of them, the ninja army, and I kept wanting to think the Hand, but I know it's not the Hand. But it's hard not to have the ninjas.
They work for the Ten Rings. Who knows? Some of them could be Hand. They could just be mercenaries for the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
Now, I was wondering if they were going to mention the Hand or Iron Fist at all. I know it's Marvel, different, TV and stuff, but I really felt like there's a lot of similar stuff here,
Oh, yeah. I think there is a character in the film who is related to Iron Fist potentially. I forgot who it was, but I think we're gonna get to Iron Fist eventually. Hopefully not the Finn guy, Finn Jones.
I think they're probably going to recast, and I wouldn't be surprised if Iron Fist shows up in the sequel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they try to escape them, and then they go off in the scaffolding, and that scene where they're fighting, and they're so high up. Oh my god, the depth was so good there.
Oh, God, yeah. I was, getting dizzy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And, the bamboo, I was like, at first I wasn't sure they actually do that, but I looked it up, yeah. In China.
Bamboo is strong.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't do that here in the States, in places.
Yeah. But yeah, in China they do that, and not just there for show. And he was there, and they survive that fight and get Aquafina and come back, and they all figure it out. And then the dad comes in, and it's like, okay, let's do this. And it kind of seemed like a lot of that action was not necessary. They could have just have the dad come up straight and been said, okay, we don't need to get the assassins on him. We don't need to do all this. You just come with me. But
movies got a movie, and I appreciate it. So, yeah.
We need action.
Yeah, we crave action, especially in 3D, because action shows off 3D beautifully.
Yeah.
So then we get back to the family, and then you see that, he's been trying to see about going to the secret area, and that he hears his mother's call, and, he needs to go back to that secret area. Are they going to help him or not? And they're like, no, we're not going to help you. She's dead. And you need to realize that. And that was it was actually really sweet of a moment. Like when they have dinner and everything. It was really nice. I like that scene a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they get thrown in the dungeon because they refuse to help him. And then they find Kinsley, which I didn't expect to see him in this movie.
Yeah, Trevor's flattery.
Yeah, I expected to see him. I expected him to be the first person that Shang-Chi killed for his father, because that would kind of follow the comics to a degree.
Yeah.
Not to see him in the basement, and it was awesome. Ben Kingsley acted the shit out of that part, and it was incredible.
Oh, that little creature Morris was cute, even though it didn't have a face.
Yeah, you would find such a creepy little animal to be adorable.
Yeah.
Well, apparently all those animals, I looked it up, are part of Chinese culture. So all of those things exist in their mythology, yeah.
Yeah, apparently, pot stickers and dumplings are based off that creature, which is very odd, but very intriguing at the same time.
And it sounds very delicious.
Yeah.
And that they're going to find a way out of there, and the sister is like, oh yeah, I knew the tunnels to lead us out. That's how I got out. Which is like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I like that.
Yeah.
And
it seemed, I thought they were kind of setting up the sister to be a bad guy at first, how it was kind of felt like, because she knew the secrets and stuff. I mean, I knew she lived there, but it seemed like she was going to be a plant for the real Mandarin, but it apparently didn't happen.
Yeah, she had other plans.
Yes.
Yeah, go girl power.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for her versus Val. That's
yeah.
So they escape, and the little creature is going to help them know where to drive, and that whole scene in the bamboo where they're like, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left. And, it worked out really well, but because they know how to drive, because they have that experience from before. And it was fun. It was a really fun scene.
Yeah.
Good in 3D.
Too, yeah. Moving bamboo kind of I wish Stanley Kubrick had this technology for The Shining.
Yeah.
The maze would have been as awesome as that maze.
Yeah.
And then they go to Ta Lo, and it's just like awesome mystical creature after awesome mystical creature.
Yeah.
There's like these phoenixes that are flying around. There's this
food lions and
a fox with multiple
nine-tailed fox. That's a mythical creature. And
yeah, it felt like Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, that's how Pokemon got it from.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they have that horse with the dragon face that's like ugly. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where you find the aunt lives there, and that no, she's not. The mom is not alive. That there's a dragon that lives inside of the that has been The dragon was there, and it almost destroyed everything, and they managed to lock it up. But it will signal people to come to open the door, so that way it could come out. And that's the thing, that the dragon is there to.
Yeah, and it's enticing. It's doing impersonations of Wen Wu's wife to get him to come.
It's like a siren song, and it's multiple people have tried this over the years, but no one has had the 10 rings. So now he's a real threat to go in, and eventually he does go in, and they teach Awkwafina how to use the archery, and then they get ready for it and understand what's going on in this mystical area. And yeah, they have a fight, and the little creatures that it shoots out, from the doorway, those little creatures like suck souls out of people, and they bring them back to the other dragon, and they can't kill them with normal items. Like, it just, your sword goes right through it or whatever. I thought that was really cool how you need to have your magical stuff.
Yeah. Dragon scale stuff.
Yep.
And the dad and Shang-Chi fight in front of the door, and the dad's trying to get through there, and eventually it still comes out, which I wasn't sure was going to happen. I thought it would be prevented, but it did happen. And then the big evil, I don't know that dragon's name, the evil one.
I don't remember it off the top of my head either.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
just evil dragon.
Yeah. And then, of course, Shang-Chi gets dropped into the lake, and he goes under, and he finds the Great Protector, who may or may not be Fin Fang Foom. He's not orange. He's not wearing purple booty shorts. So I'm saying he's probably not everybody's favorite Marvel dragon.
Yeah.
And so that dragon that escapes, I noticed this, but I don't know if you guys noticed this. That dragon looks like the Western version of a dragon, and the dragon was in the water looks like the Asian variant of the dragon. Or do you not see that?
No. This is subtle things they put in Asian movies to kind of take digs at the West. And having Trevor Slattery be the comic relief is kind of their way of cat. He's the British person. Remember, Hong Kong was under British rule, and they were under Britain's thumb for a long time. So they kind of enjoy to see the tables turned, at least in a cinema.
Yeah.
Oh, did you catch the Trump joke?
No.
When they're talking about names that Wen Wu had, and he says, yeah, and they called me the Mandarin, and he said, and America was scared of an orange.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that as a Trump joke. I just thought it was a funny joke against the Mandarin name.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, I thought it was like they were scared of... They called him after a food dish.
Yeah, they went after... remember, this movie was supposed to come out when Trump was president.
Yeah.
And he was fighting with China.
Yeah.
And blaming them for the virus. So I thought that was a reasonable, subtle jab to take at him.
Yeah.
And funny. And it works even post, because, yeah, scared of an orange.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of weird that this movie does not have a current Chinese release date.
This or Eternals.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Chinese government did say, oh, well, we don't think it's going to be respectful to our culture, which is completely bullshit, because this is a love letter to China and to Asian culture.
Yeah. Eternals going to get a release date, but this probably will. First of all, Tony Leung is the hottest actor in Asia, pretty much. I mean, so they're going to demand it.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to cave, and because this is good, this is respectful, this is not Mulan.
Because they were thinking, that's going to be racist, like have the Fu Manchu on there, but it didn't have Fu Manchu, and it's not at all racist. It's completely loving.
It has nothing to do with the Mandarin in the comics, who's also racist. In fact, Tony Leung said Marvel told him to not read the comics.
Yeah.
When he based his character on don't read the comics, they just gave him an outline of what the character was, and he filled it in.
Yeah, it did really well.
Yep, exactly.
So eventually you see the other dragon come out with Shang-Chi riding it, which is like awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody was humming the Never Ending Story song next to me, and I was laughing so hard. You have to.
And they have their fight, and the good dragon almost dies, but by an awesome shot of Aquafina, it gets him right in the neck. It's like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like, Hawkeye's got competition now.
And they're able to kill the bad dragon, and then the other good dragon goes away because there's no more balance, because you can't have good and bad to get. You're going to have one or the other. You can't have but one. You need both, not one or the other. So,
right.
Shang-Chi gets his suit there, and then he gets the powers of the rings there, and just how he was using the rings to jump and move around. Awesome.
Yeah, and he figured out how to use his mother's power to take control of the rings, and he could use her power with the rings, which was something his dad never figured out.
Yeah.
That's why I think he gave him the rings. I think he was proud of him.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And gave him
his prediction came true. Is like, I knew nobody could kill you. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But does that mean that is Shang-Chi going to be immortal now, or?
Yeah, if he wears the rings, he's immortal.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
And then his sister runs the organization, so they both get 10 rings.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 20 rings total.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I was a little bit confused by that. So more rings were generated or something?
Yeah.
She got the organization.
No, I mean, okay. When they're fighting, the dad and Shang-Chi, like, they made rings there? Or how did they just transform to Shang-Chi's rings?
No, those are the rings.
Okay.
They're one set of rings. And Shang-Chi now owns them. He's the master of them now.
Okay. And like you said before, this is not the same rings that are on the finger for the Mandarin, because the Mandarin had very powerful rings, and that's and
each has a specific power. And they decided to make them more like bracelets here, so they wouldn't look like the Infinity Stones and blah blah blah. Differentiate them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the rings are different too. All of them have different abilities. So I don't know what the abilities are for these rings really, but they're cool.
They just showed them using all of them to do various tasks. They haven't given us the nitty gritty about them yet.
Yeah.
So then he's talking to his friends about
they're like thinking they're on drugs or something. That instead of karaoke, they went on a drug bender because this is so outrageous and outlandish. There's no way any of this could be true.
Yeah.
And then Wong creates a portal and shows up.
Yeah. Oh, I love the post-credit scene.
Uh-huh.
The second one, not so much, but I did like it.
Well, I like the karaoke one, too.
Well, that's the one I was talking about. I love that one.
Mm-hmm, yeah. First one was, it went on too long, but I like seeing the future, the plans they're laying out.
Yeah, I do too.
So yeah, that I think it should have just been reversed and have that be the final, and the mid credits being the sister having the 10 Rings organization, and then the final is the big deal, because that is a big deal, because he gets to meet Captain Marvel, Wong, and Hulk or Dr. Banner.
Yeah.
And the rings made us some kind of signal into space, and they don't know what, and no one knows what these rings are from. So it's not alien tech that they know of. It's not tech from magical stuff from.
So we might be getting the McLuhans, who are a race of space dragons.
Well, I was thinking that it had a connection to the Eternals.
It could. We
Yeah.
don't know what they do in the movie, but in the comics, the rings were tied to the McLuhans. They're, like I said, they're a race of space dragons.
So it might be the Eternals lost these rings somewhere, and maybe because they're supposed to be 1,000 years old.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if Winwood is going to be in the Eternals movie.
I don't know.
That could be a possibility.
But yeah, we might find out.
So yeah, that's basically the whole movie. I thought when the main Shang-Chi is a little bit stiff, same as but I think they did well enough with him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was his first starring role, so
yeah, and he's also up against some of the greatest screen actors of all time.
yeah.
He did okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to pale in comparison to Tony Leung and Michelle Yeoh. Hell, even Awkwafina has more,
Yeah, Awkwafina really showed her chops in The Family years ago.
Oh yeah, I kind of this movie kind of felt like a remake of Raya and the Last Dragon, just a little bit, especially with the dragon stuff at the end.
But way better.
Yeah, way better.
Sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the young kids here, with the young Shang-Chi and young.
Yes.
I think they were both fantastic. I love them. And then younger. It's the same actress that did the mom. The young or no, different one.
I think that was the same actress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all those scenes worked really well together. If he wasn't as stiff, I think he'll get better with more movies, and I'm fine with that. And I wanted some more explanation about the rings. I wanted a little bit more on what the powers were and who sent the letter, because I don't even know who sent the letter.
Yeah, I think it was the father who sent the letter. I think that was pretty clear cut.
Well, he could have gotten the sister, because who knows? Maybe she was working with him to get, and they just turned. Who knows? That's cool.
Because she seemed slightly sinister at the end, especially with the music stinger of her. It's like, okay, let's get started.
Yeah, and it seemed like they accepted her as the new leader awfully quick.
Yeah, and also the dude who played, what's his name, Razor Fist?
Yeah.
He was probably the worst actor, because he's not an actor; he's just a MMA fighter.
Yeah, but he's kind of a minor character, so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah,
I did like his delivery on the I'll work with you when he saw Death.
yeah, we're gonna work together.
Yeah, it's like he had a change of heart when he saw the bigger badass killed by those things.
This is a better overall movie than Black Widow, in every regard, even the 3D. Mm-hmm. I was surprised by how good this was.
Mm-hmm.
Any more 3D sections you want to mention for spoilers?
Oh, whenever the rings were surrounding Shang-Chi, and
I also liked it
in foreground.
Yeah, when Tony Lee when he lowered his arms and the ring just came down, that looked amazing in 3D.
Oh, in the water map scene where you see the water and then it drops, and I love that.
Yes.
I don't know what that weapon is called, but the sister had it and she kept throwing it at the camera. I was like, yes, love it.
Oh yeah, the rope with the dagger attached to it.
Yeah, is that an actual weapon? Because they did that in Mortal Kombat.
And there were a couple of scenes with Trevor Slattery. When he talked about becoming an actor, about watching the Planet of the Apes and how good those apes were.
Yeah, I still can't wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, and then how did they train him to ride horses? And then when you see him and you think he's dead, and he's going, Morris, I'm just playing dead, and Morris joins him playing dead. It's
it's just such a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's got a strong rewatchability factor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And if this comes out in 3D, even if it's a Japan only $90 4K exclusive with the 3D disc, it's a definite must buy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, just start saving your money now.
I mean, with Black Widow, I'm already taking that plunge, so I'll go even deeper with Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Oh, I'm waiting to see all the announcements on Black Widow before I take the plunge.
Yeah. I mean, I can always cancel it, but...
Yeah.
I liked how it felt different. It felt different, but it also felt part of the Marvel formula. Like, it had both aspects.
Yeah, it felt extremely grounded for a comic book movie, and a Marvel one at that.
Mm-hmm. And based on Chinese fantasy literature, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I give it 8. New Jake, you give it 8 as well?
Yes.
And Classic Jake?
And I gave it a 10.
All right. And we all thought the 3D is great, if not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need more like this.
Yeah, more, please.
Easily the best 3D of this year so far.
Uh-huh, easily.
That is until Addams Family 2 comes out.
Yeah, I'm so sure that's going to knock the socks off of this.
I can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait to read your review.
Hot off the presses.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be it for us. Watch Shang-Chi. It's definitely worth your time, and definitely worth going to theaters and watching in 3D. If you can, wear a mask, but it was really hard for me to wear a mask and wear glasses for this one for me. But if you can, try.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for us. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano 3D, Mr. Bengal 5, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on Patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.